All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia have more details released for their fight that's coming up. And in this particular instance, don't think people are going to like it because it's going to be hitting you in the pocket just a little bit more heavy than we originally thought it would. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where we have the biggest fight in boxing that is going to be taking place on April 22nd, and we're now starting to get hit with some of the ramifications of all y'all out here stealing these boxing matches as more details come out about the cost associated with the Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight. Before I get into the specifics and why it is like this, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also, if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support for the channel. It really, really does make a big, big difference. And again, shout out to you, Matty Yole. I see you out there in the super thanks. Thank you, brothers, so much for your support. But let's get into this. New price point for Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia's pay-per-view. It is going to go up a whopping $5 from the last fight that Gervonta Davis had on pay-per-view. Correction on that. Sorry, it's going to go up a whopping $10 from the last fight that they had. The last fight with Gervonta Davis on pay-per-view against Hector Garcia cost $74.99. This fight between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia will be going up to $84.99, a full $10 more for the pleasure of watching Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight one another. Now, for me, does not make much of a difference at all. Cannot lie to you. Expected that to be the case. However, out there on Twitter land, you've got a lot of people complaining about it, saying, man, you know, I really want to see this fight, but $84 for two guys that aren't fighting for a title, all of that type of stuff is now being thrown around. Now, here's the thing. This is where I think this comes from. First of all, you've got a fight where they have, it's rumored, I have not actually seen anybody that has paid for this much for these tickets, where they've got $25,000, $50,000 ringside seats for that fight, right? It's nosebleed seats for $1,000. So I fully anticipated this fight having a price increase over the last fight with Hector Garcia, right? I just, without a doubt, I knew it. A $10 jump in price, though, and actually, what is that? Close to 15% hike in the price. You know, I honestly, man, I wasn't surprised. I thought it might be going up to $90, honestly. However, it is what it is, man. For me, it's worth the money. And the problem is, for a lot of people, and why I think just from a business perspective, from their end, it's a smart thing to do, because the people that are going to buy the fight are going to buy the fight. The people that are going to stream the fight are going to stream the fight. So I, who buy all my pay-per-views, I do not stream pay-per-views at all. Never. Maybe I've done it sometimes when the fight was not available. If I knew some people that wanted to see the fight, but they didn't have access to it, I might have, you know, it's probably like 8 years now. I would point people to, you know, different streams, but it's been a while since I've done that. So I buy all my pay-per-views, and to me, I want the comfort of being able to know that I can buy it, hit the button, it plays, it's going to play well, it's on my television, I don't have to worry about buffering and all that stuff. But a lot of people are going to get fire sticks, and I think they're going to fire stick a price no matter what it is. So if it was going to be $80, as long as it's not ridiculous, right? Now, if they would have priced it at like $200, I mean, they would have probably killed it. But you do have that balance, and balancing act about, you know, what is an acceptable price what is an acceptable price? What is, what will the market bear? And if they're expecting 400,000, 500,000 pay-per-views, if you do 500,000 pay-per-views and you have an extra $10 per pay-per-view, you see that you're really talking, an extra $5 million in your pay-per-view, in the revenue through the pay-per-view, just by that $10 increase, where that may allow you to make a bigger fight because you're charging more to the people that are going to actually buy it. It is unfortunate, however, that more people don't actually buy it, to encourage people to have these big fights more often. One of the big problems, and I think that it is fair to say, because I'm just taking Stephen Espinoza at his word and saying one of the hangups for the fight with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is their concern that, and I have to believe it's Terrence Crawford's concern about what the actual pay-per-view numbers will be and how much money they will actually make, through the pay-per-view, because so many people are streaming it, so many people are pirating it, right? But that's just a part of the business, man. But if you've not noticed, the best fights that have been made lately have been pay-per-view fights. So we're just kind of in that really funny situation now, right? So you have, take for example, and it's getting to be even more so that these fights are starting to be on pay-per-view, because before it was literally just Showtime and it was Showtime and the PBC that were putting all these things on pay-per-views. Now you have fights like the Zone doing it as well, where Canelo Alvarez versus John Ryder is a pay-per-view fight for some. I mean, my goodness gracious, I don't know how much they're going to charge for that, but that's one I would say that I'm seriously having second thoughts about buying. But you also got a fight that I probably will buy, and that is the Devin Haney fight versus Vasily Lomachenko. It's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be on ESPN pay-per-view. So whatever the case is, even though there is a lot of streaming of it, there's enough committed people that don't want to stream it that are willing to buy it, where they're starting to say, hey, man, we got to follow what the model that Showtime is having, which is to decrease our costs. It's just to decrease our costs for these fights and by that means, the network's not putting out a lot of money for the fight. They're letting the fighters just go to pay-per-view. I think that's probably going to be the way that these boxing matches are allowed to stay on those networks, and these fighters are going to start having to roll the dice on this type of stuff, and I think it's going to happen more and more and more. There's going to be more and more fights on pay-per-view, and you're going to have different price points for different fights. Like you have the $40 price point for the Terrence Crawford-David Avanesyan fight, because obviously they didn't have a lot of faith. People were going to pay a lot of money for that. You got a $74.99 for Gervonta and Hector Garcia. And then when it's Ryan Garcia, when it's more interest, they up the price a little bit so they can allow themselves to make more money off the pay-per-view. If you get an Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford fight, I think you're going to also see something in the $85 range. Maybe they're feeling like the 90s are too much, even though if I recall correctly, I think one of those Mayweather were charged that much. But anyway, it is what it is, man. Skip with the Zone and all these guys are trying to sell people. Pay-per-view is here to stay, and you can expect more of this. But anyway, you just let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.